Hold up, my guy, why are you just standing there? Are you unaware that the Nintendo Switch 2 is being revealed to us on April the 2nd? Are you decent? Are you ready? Do you know what to expect? Well, if you don't, then I can help you out with that. Let's talk about what I expect from this Direct. Let's start. After 8 years, we're finally at the start of something new. The Nintendo Switch 2, the NS2, if you will. It feels really weird that we're at this point, like the Switch is done and the Nintendo Switch 2 is here, but yeah, we're actually here. And I figured I'd put my 2 cents in and talk about what I think we're gonna see on April the 2nd. Now for these videos, I normally have a script, but this time around, I wanted to just make an outline and just try to get the recording done because making a script takes me forever, and I wanted to just talk to you all now. And I figured since I'm not really rambling about a random subject, this is a little bit more suitable. So I broke down everything in 3 groups, and the first thing I'll talk about is the console itself. Obviously, we're going to see the console in this Direct, otherwise, like, what's the point? We're going to get a basic overview of the features, just like we did when they showed off the Switch 1 the first time. They'll break apart the NS2 piece by piece, but they're not going to go into minor details. They're most likely going to leave that for their Nintendo Today app that they just recently launched, and also people are going to actually hold these things at the Nintendo Switch 2 events all around the world, and maybe they'll show more of it in some other public showing, like how the Switch 1 was frequently on night shows or something. We'll have a look at the new Joy-Con and what makes them special, what makes them stick to the actual Switch 2, all the fun features they have, the differences. They probably won't, but I really hope they address the issue of Joy-Con drift and ergonomics, because those were 2 of the biggest problems with the Joy-Con in my opinion. They'll probably talk about what is and isn't compatible with both systems. For example, the NS2 Joy-Con won't work on the Switch 1 because you can't physically put it on the Switch 1. Well, you probably could use Bluetooth with the Switch 2 Joy-Con to connect it to Switch 1, but they probably won't even say that in the Direct, honestly. But also, the actual Switch 2 won't fit into the Nintendo Switch 1 dock because, it's a different size. Nintendo Switch 1 games working on Nintendo Switch 2, stuff like that. One thing I really want to see is the UI. What does this console look like when you boot it up? That's one thing that's really important to me since I think the Nintendo Switch 1 is really boring, honestly. Granted, it came to do one thing, and that was to be a game system, and it does that very well, and it's very snappy. But I do love atmosphere in my games, and just booting up a game and having, I guess, something to be excited for other than the games. But just think of the Wii and the Wii U and how that had some atmosphere behind the games, and it felt very warm and inviting every time you wanted to play the game. The Switch 1 doesn't have that. I will say, I don't think we're gonna see the UI in the Switch 2 Direct. Maybe not directly, but maybe indirectly, but I don't think we're even gonna see it at all. I would love to be wrong, but who knows? If we do get a peek of the UI, we'll probably get to see a couple of aspects of the console that we don't know a thing about. Maybe that thing that people playtested last year that was supposed to be kept a secret, but instantly got leaked. I mean, they could even talk about something like a new Miiverse, Miiuniverse. Wait, Miiverse, Miiuniverse, never mind. We most likely won't even get that. And of course, 2 major things we have to get in this Direct: the release date and the price. For the release date, I really don't know. A bunch of people are saying June. It's probably going to be June. If not June, July. May is too early. As for the price, I'm gonna be the weird one and say it's gonna be $425. Or I guess $424.99, but I'm gonna be the weird one and say it's not gonna be just $400 or $399.99, but it's definitely gonna be cheaper than the PS5 or the Xbox Series consoles. Now it's time to talk about the games. And this is something I'm way more interested in than the console itself. This is the part that really matters at the end of the day. Now, in terms of the games, what we're actually going to see game-wise in this Direct, I have no idea. It could be anything, honestly, except for the thing we actually know about because we saw it back in like January or something. Mario Kart. We're gonna get a new Mario Kart that has been absolutely confirmed. They'll definitely take some time to break it down, and we'll probably see what makes it so special. There'll be one big aspect of the game that makes it really special. I just don't know. I'm a very casual Mario Kart fan. I'm not gonna break it down any more than that, really. But we'll definitely get a really good look at that. And also that launch date, absolutely a launch date. I did say I have no idea what we're gonna see, but there is one game I feel like is bound to be here: Metroid Prime 4. We saw it last week, we saw it a few days ago, but it makes too much sense to Give us an amazing trailer, probably at the end of the whole direct, that one last thing, and give us the release date, which should be the launch date of the Nintendo Switch 2. It would be weird if it wasn't a cross-platform game, and the reason that they said 2025 in the last direct is because they couldn't give out the date, because, you know, it would give out the date of the Switch 2 coming out. I don't really care for Metroid, but I had to mention it because that's probably one of the biggest ones here, considering how elusive it's been. One thing we could see them talk about is Switch 1 games having a NS2 version. Now, this is something that actually was kind of revealed already accidentally, because I think on Nintendo's website they have a little section for virtual game cards, the thing they talked about in the last direct. There were some words at the bottom of the page that were talking about Nintendo Switch 2 version of games or something like that. Yeah, so that's definitely happening. We just don't know in what way. I don't know if that means if you put the Switch game in your NS2, then it's just going to immediately like have a new version and it's running better, like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. It's running at 4K 60 FPS or 120 FPS even, or if they're going to do something stupid and very Nintendo-like and sell a whole different version of the game at full price. I really hope it's not that, but I very much see Nintendo doing something like that, because you know people will buy it, especially if it's something like Breath of the Wild Nintendo Switch 2 edition. Like, people will buy that. So let's talk a sec about new games. So the Wii had Wii Sports, Wii U had Nintendo Land, Switch had 1-2-Switch. The Switch 2 has probably got a version like that coming up, and we're going to see it in this direct. It shouldn't be anything like 1-2-Switch 2. We kind of already got that a couple years prior, and that was whatever. This will likely be a new thing they do to really show off what the Joy-Con has in store, which I didn't really talk about the Joy-Con having probable mouse controls. I forgot about that. They will definitely show how the Joy-Con can control like a mouse, and this game should hopefully show that. In fact, that random game that people were playtesting, maybe that could be it? Probably not, but who knows. I honestly really would love to see a sequel to Nintendo Land. Nintendo Land is one of my favorite games of all time. I love that game dearly, but it would make more sense for it to be a whole new game. And apart from that, I feel like we're gonna also see another new game, a new IP. Getting a new Mario or Zelda or even Splatoon is fun, but we need new games every once in a while, and Nintendo doesn't make new IPs very often, so this would be great for them to make a complete new IP, something better than ARMS Please. I didn't like that game. Something that hit as hard as Splatoon, something like that. While I'm on the subject, we're not going to see anything Splatoon related. I feel like that doesn't make a lot of sense considering they just came out with Side Order last year. Yeah, I feel like it's just too early. Now, I would love to see Splatoon 4, but maybe I shouldn't be hyped for Splatoon 4 after all, considering something just fell off a shelf in the background and I'm a little scared now. What I was going to say was, I'd be glad to see Splatoon 4, but only if they make it something a little bit more special than what we've had on the first Switch. Like, Splatoon 1 was a really good game, Splatoon 2 was also a really good game, Splatoon 3 was a good game, but did nothing new. You can say the same thing about Splatoon 2, but like, I'm a bit biased because I started on Splatoon 2 and I thought it was enough of an upgrade for it to be worth it, but Splatoon 3 did nothing, at least for me. So if they have Splatoon 4, please don't make anything fall off my shelf again. I don't know if God's trying to tell me something, but make it something new, like something fresh. That pun was not intended, by the way. Here's a very important one. Sakurai's latest game. Now, people will probably be quick to jump on the Smash train and be like, all right, it's Smash, moving on, but like, I personally don't think it's going to be that. I feel like I really have no idea. I don't know what he's going to do, but what I personally want for him to do, I want it to be Kid Icarus. People have been kind of saying Kid Icarus Uprising remastered or HD or whatever. I kind of hope it's a new Kid Icarus made by directed by Sakurai. I would love that. I haven't played the original, or I haven't played Uprising, but I watched a good chunk of the cutscenes online and it looks like a really fun game, but I just didn't want to play it on the 3DS because it just looked so uncomfortable. And considering Sakurai has been working on a game for the past couple years now, we probably will see it here. And 2 years, that's a pretty fast turnaround for something to be Smash related. Even if it comes out next year, I feel like it wouldn't make sense for it to be Smash. Also, if we get a new Smash, I would like to see a new director. I would like Sakurai to chill out for once. But if we get more Smash and Sakurai's back at it again, then I really just want something new with Smash. Something completely new. Even if we hate it, something new. Or more Ultimate. Maybe that's a bit stupid, but like, more Ultimate will be fine too. Give us more costumes, give us more characters. Screw it, give us more characters. We'll definitely see third-party support in some games that are going to be coming to Nintendo Switch 2, some at launch, some later on. I feel like Elden Ring makes too much sense to come on the Switch 2 at launch. Final Fantasy VII Remake also makes a lot of sense. Rebirth, probably not yet, but Remake makes a lot of sense coming also at launch. Persona 3 Reload, I think, also makes a lot of sense. We have Persona 5 Royal on Switch already, so why not Reload? And then, you know, a bunch of sports games, Madden, whatever FIFA is now, whatever NCAA football is now. And finally, the game that I would most personally care about, a new 3D Mario. It has been nearly a decade since Odyssey, so I think it's about time. I don't know what they can do with the game. The only thing I could say is that it will probably be something that takes cues from Bowser's Fury. And I really loved Bowser's Fury, so please more of that. Make the experience completely new. Make it weird like Wonder was, like Mario Wonder was. That was very fun, and that had a lot of personality. And something I would personally really love to see, co-op. Real co-op, not whatever you could do in Odyssey with like the second player taking over capping. No, real co-op. Maybe that wouldn't be what the series needs, but like I love 3D World. I don't care what other people say. I really love 3D World, and adding a slight multiplayer aspect or co-op aspect to a regular 3D Mario, I think would go miles. We don't need it, but I personally, this is a very personal thing. I personally would love having that in the next 3D Mario. And we're probably going to get it in November or October. It will be the holiday game that really sells the Nintendo Switch too. Lastly, I'll talk about the Direct itself. Now, obviously 2017, that whole presentation, that wasn't a Direct. It was pretty much a E3 press conference, but you just take it away the E3 part. I actually watched this whenever they live streamed it back in 2017, my first time ever doing anything like that. And it was really cool getting to see Nintendo do this sort of thing. That being said, it was definitely rough in some areas, and having a Direct makes it where things are way smoother and you don't have things like technical issues or, you know, translators struggling to get by. Directs peak at 40-45 minutes. I feel like we're going to get a 50 or even 60-minute Direct. They're gonna need some extra time to really sell home this console and explain everything, as well have time to talk about the games. And I also think we're not gonna see the normal format that we see in normal Directs. And what I mean by that is, you know, you have Takahashi or Koizumi just standing in front of a random red background talking to you through a translator, or at least for the American audience. And it's nothing crazy, but I feel like they're gonna take notes from their E3 conferences and go all out. Because I feel like if there's a time to go all out, it's now. That was one thing the Switch event in 2017 did well, was having some of those videos and showing you how cool all the aspects of the Switch were with pre-made videos. It honestly would feel weird if they had someone in front of a green screen pointing at a table and being like, oh yeah, that's the Switch. You can take it off like this. There's a magnet. Like, no, like make it something really cool, because this is a start of a new generation, I guess. So make it a spectacle or something. Speaking of Takahashi and Koizumi, I don't know if we're going to just see them primarily, because we've mainly just seen those two for in the entirety of the Switch 1. I don't know if they're going to include other people as well, like last time, like how they included the Nintendo of Europe and America presidents. That part I'm really not sure about, and that's really all I've got other than this one point I put in my outline saying, please be good. I think I was talking about the Direct, but I really want the console to be good. I really want it to be something that I would actually consider buying on day one. I don't think I'm going to buy it on day one. I want this Direct to change that. And of course, actually having money, but that's a different story. Oh yeah, I kind of forgot this part. They're going to say something after the Direct, sometime in the next 24 hours after the Direct, that they really should have put in the Direct, but for some reason they don't. They literally did it with the last Direct that just happened. They did it with the 2017 one with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe being announced. I feel like they're gonna do it again. And that is what I expect from this next Direct. The closer we get to it, I am starting to get actually excited. Like beforehand, I really didn't care, honestly. I said, whatever, I'll get it eventually. But now just thinking about it, predicting what's going to happen, and just seeing people put their predictions out there, I'm starting to actually get excited. So I guess we'll see what happens. But anyways, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to go get prepared, and I think you should get prepared too. Later.